This medieval-styled fortress was constructed to guard the entrance to the city from pirates and invaders, and it's the oldest military construction of European origin in the entire American continent. The construction also served as a prison, one of its prisoners being Christopher Columbus himself after he fell from the grace of the Spanish crown. Walk up the winding staircase inside its impressive 69 meters tall tower to get a panoramic view at the port, the Ozama River and the city. Inside this museum, you'll be greeted by skeletons of gigantic sea creatures before you can go on exploring 7 rooms, which display the typical wildlife and the most characteristic plants in the different ecosystems of the island. Not only can you see exhibits of various birds, reptiles, mammals, feline predators, insects, oh my god, look at that scary fucker, but the museum has a planetarium too. This mysterious ruin is what's left of the American continent's first hospital. This hospital/church was erected in the first half of the 16th century, combining Italian Renaissance, Gothic and Mudéjar styles. It successfully withstood numerous historical catastrophes such as... oh, hello kitty. Such as pirate raids, hurricanes and revolutions before it was abandoned in the 18th century for reasons unknown, and became a ruin after a 19th century earthquake. Before Cortés, Velázquez, Balboa and other Spanish conquerors went to colonize Mexico, Cuba and Panama, they all came here first to ask for permission and money, as this building was the residential palace of the Spanish viceroy, who was the highest representative of the Spanish crown in its New World colonies. The construction of this building was commanded by Diego Columbus, Christopher Columbus's son, and was completed in 1514. Panteón de la Patria was originally a Jesuit church, and today it's a national symbol and final resting place of the country's most honored politicians, military leaders and intellectuals. The country's notorious dictator, Rafael Trujillo himself, was planning to be buried here, but instead of him, the people who assassinated him and were then executed lie here today. Come here around sunset if you want to experience the flag ceremony carried out by the National Guard. Follow Calle El Conde, the city's oldest pedestrian shopping street, to get to Parque Colón, meaning Columbus Park, which isn't a park but rather Santo Domingo's main square. Fight your way through tourist groups, street vendors and street musicians. Oh wait, this guy is actually thoroughly good. And watch the Dominicans play their favorite game, domino. In the center of the square, you cannot overlook the statue of the man who discovered a sailing route to the Americas and established Spanish rule on the American continent, thus forever changing world history, Christopher Columbus. Is it a coincidence that hundreds of pigeons feel so much at home at Parque Colón? After all, the name Columbus stands for pigeon in Latin.
You want to see the American continent's very first church? Okay, let's check it out.
But why does this city cathedral have no bell tower at all? Well, that story starts in the early 1500s, when the first stone of the cathedral was set by Diego Columbus, the son of Christopher Columbus.
And the best part about it is how refreshingly cool it is.
A bell tower was never built, simply because the city could never afford one. And the raids of the British pirate Francis Drake, who took everything of value from the cathedral, did not exactly help with that.
for an evening stroll on the Malecon and watch the pelicans fly.
The city's seaside promenade was refurbished in 2017 and offers a bicycle lane along with restaurants, bars, hotels and casinos. I'm gonna be honest with you, the Malecon itself is not pretty everywhere, but this is where you can photograph the most beautiful sunsets in the whole city and where you get a pretty decent glimpse at its skyline. This monument, in the shape of a 240 meters long cross, is less of an actual lighthouse than rather a museum and a mausoleum honoring Christopher Columbus, whose mortal remains lie here in a sarcophagus, at least if you ask Dominican authorities. The cross-shaped light beams that are projected from here at night are so bright that they can be seen from Puerto Rico, lying 300 kilometers eastwards, even though when the lights were switched on, the rest of the country suffered a power outage. I stumbled upon this small manufactory rather by coincidence, and man was I lucky. The friendly and chilled boss of the manufactory walked me through all the steps of cigar production and kept refusing to take a tip from me. Here you can see for yourself how the tobacco leaves are first fermented in order to develop their flavor, then how the leaves are wrapped with a special rounded knife called chaveta, before they are hand-rolled and pressed by skilled rollers. But wait, the cigars are not finished yet. They must first be bundled and stored on wooden shelves in order to let them mature in taste and flavor before they can actually make it to being packaged in order to be sold.
Check out Parque Nacional Los Tres Ojos.
Parque de los Tres Ojos is a phenomenal system of open-air limestone caves harboring 3 freshwater lakes fed by an underground river. After accessing the caves by a winding staircase cut into the rocks, you can marvel at the colorful reflection of these lakes, which served as a shooting location for different blockbusters such as Tarzan or Jurassic Park 3. Centuries ago, the site was used by the indigenous Taino population for religious rituals, and until today, it is inhabited by likewise noble creatures.
I would be interested in what your favorite place was during the video here in Santo Domingo. If you liked the video, share it rather than liking it and subscribe to my channel. See you soon on Travel on Fire.